Okay, let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about, I gave you guys all a handout, the route patterns, which is the next lab they're going to be working on. We're not going to get to it today. We're going to talk about it today, but you'll be able to work on that next class. So take a look at figure 10-2. This is the external route pattern architecture and how it works. So let's put it up here on the board so we can talk about it and look at what happens when we make a call. So the route pattern, if we take a look at the bottom of this image, a route pattern is a number that you dial. So let's say we dial 91608-822-2429, which is my phone number. Okay, 9 is essentially reserved for an outside line or a trunk line. The 1 indicates a long distance number. 608 is the area code. I spelled area, just went blank. There we go, thank you. This is our prefix, and then this is the station ID or the actual number that we're wanting to get a hold of. So when you dial this number, this pattern, it takes a look at the route patterns that you have already established in your CUCM, in your call manager. That route pattern then looks at the digits that you dialed, and if it matches a particular pattern, then that pattern has a route list that it sends it to. That route list are things like hunt groups. So if you dial a particular number, you can have this number not necessarily go out to a trunk line, but could go to a bank of phones. So that number dialed could be a customer service hunt group, meaning that that hunt group is 200 phones where my 200 customer service reps are sitting waiting for a call. And then we'll talk about hunt groups later on, but then all of their phones ring and one of them picks up on it, right? So that's an example of a hunt group. So the route list helps direct where that goes. Okay, so from that hunt list, or sorry, that route list, we then go to a route group. And the purpose of using a route group is if we have multiple devices that need to be told to ring or told to do something with the call that is just been created. That route group are things like group together gateways or trunks or routers that help route the call either out to the public telephone network or to another remote location. So we could have a hunt group that goes to a gateway that connects us to our WAN that goes to another remote site, right? So we can go site B. So depending upon the numbers you dialed, remember we talked about our extensions and the extension ranges and the numbers that we use to dial, and we identified that the numbers that we chose for our location all start with the number 2. But we could say another location starts with 3. So our extensions are 2211, but another location could be 3110 or whatever, right? So that number dialed helps identify how or where we're going to be sending these. So if we dial the 3110, then it knows based on the 3, it goes through the route pattern. Route pattern uses a specific list. That list sends to this group, which is a gateway connection through a WAN over to another gateway that lets us dial a phone number or an extension that exists off of here. Okay, we can also have route groups that are other gateway devices. Okay, so these gateways could be connected to the PSTN. So if you dial the 9, now it knows, oh, I need to use this route pattern, or I have 2 route patterns that say 9. And then depending upon if I'm using long distance, dialing a 1, or long distance, a 011, then it would choose a route list that would send me to a group to use the gateway located here to connect to the PSTN in the US. So if I dial 91, use this one to connect to the PSTN, or if I dial a 9011, now it knows, well, maybe I should use a different route group that takes me to a WAN connection that gets me over into Europe, our Europe location, and then we'll make a local call in Europe. You follow? How we can decide how to route these based on the number dialed. So if we have a location in England and it's cheaper to call from a country in England to France than it is to call from the US to France, then we're going to route that call this direction through our WAN connection over to England. Make sense? So that's how we're going to be setting up our different route patterns. You can also use different route groups and give priority. So you can say that our first choice is going to be use this connection to get over here to site B. But site B's gateway also has a connection to the PSTN. So what happens if this first route group, this gateway device, is down or inaccessible? Then the second choice, could be to go through this group using one of these 2 gateways through the PSTN, and then we just end up paying toll charges for a long distance call. And then we can connect to site B. So even though the person might dial just 3110, that 3110 first choice is to use this, our WAN connection, to dial the extension at site B. So I can put a phone over here, 3110, right? So that pattern that we dialed, 3110, would then go to this direction. But if this device is down, then its second choice is to go this direction to get to the extension. So that's why there's these layers that we choose, so we can choose what direction that we're going to be sending our calls through. Make sense? Pretty easy concept, right? But when you look at it, it's a bit complicated when you take a look at these patterns. So the pattern, if we take a look at this route pattern, we have numbers that are separated by a dot. Then we have numbers that are inside of brackets, and then X's. Let's take a look at what those actually mean. On the back side of this, I have all of these spelled out. I'm not going to put this up on the board just because you can reference it on your sheet. But the X means it's going to match any digit 0 to 9. A period is where the digits will be stripped off. Because watch this. If I dial 9-1-608-822-2429, should I send this whole string of characters out to the public telephone network? No, because the public telephone network has no clue what 9 is for. It's like 9, the only thing that really starts with 9 is 911, and then the rest of the digits don't really match, so they don't know what to do with it. So when we put a dot in there, the dot indicates when you send this or route this, you're going to take this 9 and you're going to remove it before you transpose these rest of these digits out to the telephone network so they can deal with it and route it on their network. Okay? So the 9 says strip anything before the dot. That's what the dot means. Square brackets. This is any single digit in the range. So when you put numbers in a range, so we say the number is going to be anywhere from 2 to 4. That means it will say the digit can be a 2, can be a 3, or it can be a 4. That's what the brackets mean. And we can use commas, or a hyphen is a range. So we could go 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4. Either one of those would work. The caret is used inside of brackets and designates a number or range to exclude. So exclude the 0 and the 2. You put a caret in front of it. The exclamation point matches one or more digits in the range of 0 to 9. In other words, anything. The pound symbol is a valid dialed digit. So it does not automatically use that or utilize that. So you don't want to use the pound symbol. But it is sometimes added to route patterns when you don't know that. So in other words, if you dial a foreign number, some foreign numbers are 8 digits long, some foreign numbers are 12 digits long, depending on which country you're calling. So when you don't know how many numbers are going to be dialed, you can either configure your call manager just time out to go, well, I haven't heard any digits being dialed in the last 5 seconds, so I'm going to assume they're done dialing, and I'll grab that string of numbers they dialed and start applying it to my rules. Or you can put a pound symbol in there to say that any number of digits could be accepted here. So the pound symbol is used for that purpose. And you'll have a lab that goes through that to play around with that. And then the @ symbol is a macro that represents patterns that cover the selected national dial plan. So a large number of dial plan entities. So 9.@ symbol. In other words, the typical international or the typical U.S. dial plan. So you could create a pattern that says 9.@, and it would include any numbers in this current plan. So you can use this. This is in your textbook, but I thought it'd be nice to have a separate sheet of paper that you can reference when you're typing these out. The lab 10-1, as you go through and actually create these dial patterns and then start to create these route lists and then groups that we're going to get into in a later lab. The route groups are going to have us actually connecting our gateways to the public switch telephone network. So when we dial 911 or when we dial a long distance phone number, it will route it to the correct gateway in order to get you to the PSTN. Are there any questions about any of these?
Nope.
Okay. Good luck.
Still making this stuff.